issue and the understanding of the celebrity lives from a common man perspective. So from among us, we have some of the big stalwarts of the creative industry. And before I start passing the mic to Professor Mrityunjay Chatterjee, I would also welcome our senior professors, Professor Tridip Chakraborty, Professor Moitri Bardhan Roy, Professor Ruby Sain, and Professor Jyoti Gupta. I also welcome all the students of the university, outside the university, and from different parts of India. So I finally pass this mic to Professor Mrityunjay Chatterjee, the Dean of School of Social Science, School of Liberal Arts and Cultural Studies, Adamas University, to give the welcome speech and start the session. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and it's been a wonderful kind of occasion. Welcome to all of you from the School of Liberal Arts and Culture Studies, Adamas University. We generally deliver on current topics and kind of find and deliberate on those kind of issues which are highly pertinent to the students and the community and society at large. Celebrity lives have always been something magical. As we have grown up with those Bollywood heroes and the sports-filled kind of people who have mesmerized us with their lives and their stories and their achievements. And celebrities form one of the most important segment of any kind of discussion in Indian homes. And it is not surprising that every sphere of their life is under some kind of scanner because of the entertainment, because of the value, because of the importance, because the human interest that they evince from the people at large. But we are here on an occasion when there has been some very disturbing kind of news from different corridors of the celebrity life, and we would discuss every aspect. The aspects that we are going to discuss today would be success, failures, limelight, wealth, the basic celebrity life, and the pitfalls of it, the dark side of it, the depressions, the nepotism, and also any kind of traits that the celebrities would fit to discuss today on a platform. And we would like to hear from them what are the kind of different shades of the magical life that we perceive, we adore. In fact, celebrities in India and all across the world sometimes go up to being demigods in the mindset, in the psyche of the people. Hence, I would set the ball rolling, and I would request Devolina Dotto Mukherjee, the very known face in television and film industry, someone very vocal on different aspects of issues, someone who has been one of the limelights in caring for the dogs and the other pets on the streets, who have been abandoned on different occasions, have been a leading light in the industry. Devolina Dotto Mukherjee is someone who's very also close to me because I've seen her entire growth from childhood. I would request Professor Mukulika Dotto Gupta to please introduce Devolina ma'am. Over to you, Mukulika.
Thank you, Professor Chatterjee, Honorable Dean, School of Liberal Arts and Cultural Studies, Adamas University, and a very good evening to ladies and gentlemen. It is my immense pleasure to introduce Ms. Devolina Dotto as one of our eminent speakers in today's webinar on celebrity lives, success and failure. Ms. Dotto is a very well-known Bengali cinema and television actor. She made her debut in the real world as a child artist in the Bengali film Manush or Manush. She has acted in the films like Ekla Akash, Chotushkon, Ebar Shobor, Basto, Sheshanko, and many more remarkable Bengali films. As I have already mentioned, Ms. Dotto is also a celebrated Bengali television actor. কি আশায় বাঁধি খেলা ঘর, এক আকাশের নিচে, দুর্গা, এখানে আকাশ নীল, প্রতিবিম্ব are just a few television series to name. Without any further ado, I would like to request our honorable speaker, Ms. Dotto, my apologies, Ms. Debolina Dotto, to share her views on the issue. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Mukulika. Am I right with the name?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chatterjee. Thank you, Mukulika. And good evening to everybody who's present right now in the panel and watching us. Okay, so it's been 22 years now for me in the entertainment industry, quote unquote, being an actor. So I'm exclusively an actor in the Bengali industry, having done a few projects in Mumbai also, but very few. It's been some 22 years now. Yes, I was really, really young when I started, but not really a child artist, to be very specific, because I would
On the onset, just to tell you that you've got 15 minutes. Okay. So I'll give you a reminder when 3 minutes to 15.
Yes, please do. Yeah. So to be specific, not really as a child actor. And why do I mention this? I mention this because, you know, when you really start as specifically a child artist, then there are certain things that you don't face in the industry, and the scenario is a little different. You know, when you are playing a daughter in a film, see, there's a hero or there's a heroine, you're the daughter, you're the little kid. The scenario is a little different when you start with that and you grow up doing that. But when you come and you start with a young girl, you know, playing characters of a young girl in the industry, or a young boy, not talking only about girls, a young boy or a young girl, that's again a different scenario. Now, first of all, let me talk about stardom. So you need to have talent and you need to be very famous to be called a star. But we do get to see, you know, people in the entertainment industry who are, let me be very frank, not very talented, quote unquote, but they are stars. Very famous, but we keep on criticizing, not very talented, but they are very famous and big stars. Now, in such cases, there's a constant criticism that goes on, that how is he or she a big star, quote unquote, and see, he or she has got no talent. Now, in such cases, there is one thing that we have to agree, that maybe he or she doesn't have a talent which is really to be mentioned about, but if he or she is a star, who made him or her the star? Like, stardom is one thing which cannot and just cannot happen without the support of the audience. If the audiences reject you, there is no way how one can become a stardom, one can become a star. And I'm saying this in spite of being a victim of nepotism, in spite of being a victim of favoritism, in spite of being a victim of everything, casting couch, everything that belongs to the industry. Because in spite of being a victim of all these things, if somebody is surviving in the industry for years after years, and if you're being liked, then the only thing is that the audiences are accepting you. And that's what makes you a star. Now, stardom comes with a lot of pressure. Like what? If you are liked by the audiences, you have to keep on maintaining the reasons why you are liked by the audiences, being a star, for what the audiences are liking you. That is in front of the camera. In case of actors, there's a certain kind of, there's no denying the fact that there's a certain kind of look that you have to maintain. In case of your weight, in case of your skin, in case of wrinkles, you know, the very, very natural things that we are absolutely and totally humans. It is very natural that an actor will age, and an actor will age with wrinkles, with weight. But what happens is, like when, for example, Aishwarya has a baby and after that she puts on weight, and the first picture that comes out in the social media, the reaction of the audience is, oh my God, look, she's put on so much weight after having a baby, as if putting on weight after having a baby is unnatural. That is what somebody is not supposed to have. So why are people surprised? Isn't she supposed to put on weight after having a baby? Isn't somebody supposed to have wrinkles after, you know, after a certain age, unless you're going on some kind of special treatment? So if Aishwarya was as thin after having a baby, then this should have been the reaction. Oh my God, look, she's had a baby, but still she's thin. But no, whenever a natural thing happens to an actor, audiences are always surprised. She's aging, she's putting on weight, she's having wrinkles, this, that. Now, this is the first pressure that an actor faces. For this, there are actors, you know, going under the knives and putting a lot of pressure on themselves as far as diets are concerned, as far as lifestyles are concerned, which is itself a pressure for an actor. There are people who can accept this. There are people who cannot accept this. This totally depends on an individual. Now, this is something that a star always has to maintain. Now, but one has to maintain. I personally always feel it is always great to age gracefully and be Mr. Bachchan. You know, you get roles according to your age, and you go on being an actor instead of always, you know, trying to be a hero or a heroine till your last breath, which you can't be. You ought to be a failure if that is what you target. That's what I would like to suggest to all aspiring actors, that please be mentally prepared that you might start as a lead, a hero or a heroine, but you have to understand the fact that with your life going ahead with age, you have to be ultimately an actor. You will get characters according to your age as soon as you age, and it is good to accept that instead of going on trying hard to reduce your age and try to do characters with that not fit your age. It is completely unhealthy. Now, on top of this, when pressures like nepotism come, which totally exists in the industry, there is no denying the fact that nepotism, favoritism, and casting couch absolutely exists. That's a huge pressure for people, for people who don't come from a nepo background, who are not nepo kids, or who don't have any background in the industry. One thing I totally agree, that nepotism definitely gives you a break, but it cannot make you continue for ages in the industry. For continuing years after years after years, you will have to have talent, and you will have to have the audience to accept you, because we have seen nepo kids being successful. We have also seen nepo kids being unsuccessful. But there is no denying the fact that we have seen nepo kids getting a very easy break and always getting a best debut award in spite of anything. Talent, no talent, good film, bad film, doesn't matter. A nepo kid is always launched very easily. Now that is also a big, huge aspect in today's world, in such a competitive world, when so many people want to be in this industry, that there are maybe 10,000 in the line who are more capable, who's supposed to get the break, but they are sabotaged because a nepo kid is given a break. So getting a break in today's industry is a huge thing. So that is also something which is a huge pressure. After that, definitely you have to prove yourself in order to remain and continue in the industry. But getting a break just because you're a nepo kid is definitely a huge pressure for the non-nepo kids. Now, there is another thing, that if you're getting a break and you're continuing as a nepo kid, is that only nepotism? No. In this case, I support few of my colleagues who has also said this, that sabotaging the people from outside the industry is also a part of nepotism. It's not only giving a break to your friends and your family, being a powerful person, first of all, you have to be very powerful to support nepotism. Unless you're powerful, you cannot support nepotism. To support your friends and family in the industry, you yourself have to be very powerful. So it goes on in dynasties, a nepo supporting a nepo, supporting a nepo, supporting a nepo. Now, for that, you also sabotage other people who are from outside the industry. That is also an integral part of nepotism, definitely. Unless one gets a chance to face the camera, how does one prove oneself? And after that, then you're sabotaged. Even if you prove yourself, you're sabotaged. So that is definitely a huge, huge pressure. But in this industry, one has to join with a prepared mind that you will face nepotism, you will face favoritism, and you will face casting couch. That is something for which your mind has to be groomed and prepared and seasoned, Otherwise, you will definitely be a victim of shock. You will definitely be a victim of depression. But is it only about the industry, about the entertainment industry? Certainly not. Certainly not. In every other industry, there is nepotism and favoritism. A doctor's son becomes a doctor, but there's a difference. Now, a doctor's son, a famous doctor's son, can get the advantage of practicing for the initial 5 or 10 years under his father. But he has to definitely study medical. Can a doctor one day decide that, okay, I'm powerful, now from today I want my son to become a doctor? No, he has to study medical. That's a basic difference between nepotism in other fields and nepotism in our field, in case of actors. But in case of our field, even if you don't have a single hint about acting, you don't have any studies about acting, you're not out from an industry, if you have a powerful parent or an uncle or a chacha or a chachi or a nani, anybody in the industry, you can be launched.
3 minutes.
You know acting or you don't have acting.
3 minutes.
Sorry?
3 minutes.
Okay. So that is something that is horrible about the industry. Now, my suggestion is that this will certainly and definitely lead one to depression, pressure, drastic steps, only if you are not prepared. So the main thing about this industry is somebody talking? So the main thing about this industry is, what I would like to say is that if one wants to join the entertainment industry and wants to be successful in this, then you have to have a prepared mind that nepotism, favoritism, and casting couch is something, are the three things that will always remain, and you cannot get rid of that in the industry. It's horrible, but it's there. So you have to fight with that. You have to come with a mentality to fight with that. You will be a victim. If somebody is saying no, then that's a lie. Being 22 years in the industry, I'm saying that that's a lie. So you have to be mentally prepared for that. And yes, you have to be patient enough to get your first big break, that can make you a star, where you can really exhibit yourself, which can be your catalog for your talent. For that, you have to have much more patience than talent, actually. Much more patient than talent, to really wait and see that when you can get your first break, if you're not having a backup. But are there not exceptions? Of course there are exceptions. Certainly there are exceptions, but very few. I should say that the percentage is 10 exceptions. If I count, the percentage is 10 and the rest is 90. So that way, patience and knowing the fact that you will be a victim, these are the two things that you have to be prepared about if you're coming in this industry. And if you're mentally prepared from beforehand, then there is nothing to be shocked. Then there is nothing that if you go for an audition and you know that you gave your best audition and there's a nepo kid who didn't even audition, after that you don't have to really have 6 months of sleepless night with antidepressant drugs because, oh my God, how did this happen? Now you know that this will happen. Just be prepared that this will happen. But you have to be patient. It didn't happen this time. I will definitely come across an exception and my talent will be acknowledged and it will happen to me someday or the other. So basically, that's what I could part from my experience of 22 years. All of the things that we talked about, and are that we are supposed to talk about in this, all the quote unquote negative aspects of the industry are there. It exists. But if you have this one thing, that is patience and the wisdom of accepting that it is there, don't try to expect that it will not be there and some kind of magic will happen in your life, then you will definitely be successful. But patience. That's it. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Why can't I hear anybody? Is anybody talking right now? I can't hear anybody.
I think Mukulika is on mute. And yeah, I think, yeah, that's what it is. Somebody needs to, yeah, introduce the next speaker, I guess. Will somebody speak?
I think there was a disruption and I was out because the network was not there. So I thank you, Debolina. It has been a wonderful kind of disposition. I always knew that you would call a spade, and you have done that true to your character. And we will now have different shades from Vivek is yet to join. I am not being able to connect to him. Maybe the network problem persists. I would now request Dr. Pallavi Sinha Roy to please introduce Mr. Shaumik Sen, who would now speak. Dr.
Thank you
Pallavi
so much,
Sinha
sir.
Roy. Sinha Das.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Respected Dean, sir, and all my senior professors, and all the esteemed guests here. Now I would take the privilege to introduce Mr. Shaumik Sen. He is a journalist turned Indian screenwriter. He is an Indian film writer, director, music composer who has mainly worked with Bollywood. He has worked in popular movies like Gulab Gang, Why Cheat India, and his previous movies which has hit the theater was Why Cheat India in year 2019. His movie Gulab Gang had a leading lady Madhuri Dixit, and which was appreciated by Indian Times as a full of self-deprecating humor and quite confidence. He has also directed a Bengali film Mahalya, the biopic of Birendra Krishna Bhadra. And in addition to these, his exclusive compiled list with the movies like Meri Pyari Bindu, Hum Tum Aur Ghost, Mirabai Not Out, and Anthony Kaun Hai. And in this film, Mr. Shaumik Sen has made his debut in the Bollywood in 2006 as a screenplay writer. In celebration of the 100th anniversary of Indian cinema, he was one of the top figures selected by CNN, IBN to draw up the 100 greatest Indian films of all time. Now, I would welcome Mr. Shaumik Sen to the program organized by School of Liberal Arts and Culture Studies. Over to you, sir.
Hi, guys. I hope my audio is all right. That's the first and the most important thing. If there is an audio problem, please comment.
No, we can all hear you.
Hear me fine. So yeah, I mean, it's really interesting and nice what Debolina said, and I kind of agree with most of the things that she's saying. I'd like to just, when it comes to nepotism and that's a favorite N word. A lot of people that I see nowadays championing the cause of nepotism. Nepotism band karo. Shekhar Kapoor writes a lot of things against nepotism. People forget that he's Devanand's nephew. Nepotism comes from the word nephew in Latin. So what I'm trying to say is that you know, hamam mein sab nange hain yaar. You know, it's not as cut and dry as you think it is. If there was no nepotism, you will not have the Indian, or rather the Hindustani classical music industry. The word gharana steeps from nepotism. I can only think of Bhimsen Joshi, whose father was a schoolmaster, and who then everybody else, anybody you can think of, okay, Ali Akbar Khan, Pandit Ravi Shankar, everybody, uh, Amjad Ali Khan, D.V. Paluskar, Pandit Jasraj, everybody, okay, they've all imbibed a certain kind of knowledge, a certain kind of tutelage from a very closeted and exclusive, secluded modus of discipline, because that's essentially what the arts were. Like you did not have any school for music, you did not have any school for acting, which is why attempts have been made in the past. It's not that now, you know, people are, you know, turning around and saying, what is Karan Johar doing? Why is he casting Chunky Pandey's daughter? In 1965 is when Filmfare tried to, with the United Producers Association, they set up a talent hunt. As far as I remember, I could be wrong, Bimal Roy, Rishikesh Mukherjee, Guru Dutt, Raj Khosla, voice is cracking. Okay. Is it?
No, sir, it is
Right.
clear, sir.
I'm going to, okay, it's clear to you? Okay, if it's clear to one person, then it's that person's problem. So anyway.
No, I can hear you very well.
You can hear me fine. Okay, thanks. So, yeah, so 1965 is when the talent hunt happened, in which a hockey player called Jatin Khanna came first. 1965, yeah. That's Rajesh Khanna. I think the runner-up was a farmer from Punjab, that's Dharminder, or was it Vinod Mehra? I forget. The girl who came first was Farida Jalal. So now, what I'm trying to say is there were talent contests. For some strange reason, it was discontinued because of a simple reason. Film families back then realized this is, you know, our industry, which is not an industry, as some of you may know, a lot of you do not know. The film industry is still not given industry status, so we can run it the way we want to run it, because of, obviously there's now, you know, no support whatsoever. So that's how it began, right? Now, over a period of time, as Devolina correctly put it out, that you know, you have to prove your mettle. So there were people who proved their mettle, and then there were people who did not. You know, and I would really like to know where Puru Rajkumar is today. You know, Bobby Deol sat at home for 15 odd years. I mean, Zayed Khan, you know, is also a talent whose names we know. I have been to Filmfare Awards, I've been nominated, and I have seen how, like, it's a custom that carries on till today. And I'm not even saying that it's about nepotism, right? It's not even about favoritism. There are a lot of actresses and actors who probably have done nothing, but you'll see them in the first 3 rows, and you will see lyricists and music directors who sit on the 10th row, writers who sit on the 11th row, things like that, right? Now there is a logic behind that also. I mean, I have been subject to that, but I'm trying to tell you there's a logic behind that, because every award ceremony in our country, as Shekhar Gupta, you know, put out in his column, is a television event. Okay, so it doesn't matter. It's not like the Oscars where an academy gets together and gives votes. Okay, here any random people, a jury set up. You know, this actor, if you don't give awards, camera will not go to that person. So yeah, it's complicated. It's a television event. That's what all awards are. So anyway, that's I'm digressing. That's about you know, what glamour essentially you know, leads you towards. Coming back to what nepotism does is that it creates an individual coterie of your own. But let me today say that it is not what it used to be. Okay, and especially with the rise of the web world, today directors, and a lot of directors, are not interested in going to a star, okay, because that guy guarantees you, you know, so much of budget and all of that. Today it doesn't really matter. You have a great story, you go cast anybody you want to. The platform should like it, and they'll put it out there. It doesn't matter. It's the genre, it's the story, which kind of determines what it does. Had there been nepotism extremely prevalent today and killing outsiders, for lack of a better word, Patal Lok would not have been what it is today. Okay, Abhishek Banerjee and Jaideep Alawat and Neeraj Kavi are headlining a show, okay, on Amazon, and there are people talking about it. And I mean, if you try to do a box office smasher, film with these guys, it's not going to stand, right? But a situation like this was unimaginable even, I would say, 4 years ago. Okay, like even in order to set up Sacred Games, which technically is not an Indian show, it actually got greenlit from LA, and then it got here, and Phantom kind of produced it. I'm saying that because I'm doing a show with Vikram Motwani for Amazon, and you needed that headlining cast. So you got Nawaz, who's a non-nepotistic guy. You also got Saif Ali Khan, who is not having a great run at the film box office, and that's fine. Now, having said that, and having put the onus back to where the industry is moving forward, and it's improving, as I said, and you need not be a star kid to become successful. Abhishek Banerjee was a casting director. He actually cast me in a film also. So he's become a face which people identify with and want to go to. On the other hand, while that is a reality, you have to also look at what's happening to cinemas worldwide, right? I mean, you will always need the tentpole. You will always need a Marvel or an Avengers. I think today is the 45th year that Rajinikanth has been in this industry. Devalina also mentioned about how stars have a lot of pressure about putting up appearances. You look at Rajinikanth, you kind of, he doesn't care, right? And he doesn't care. I mean, he's unique, but that's the norm in the West. In Hollywood, nobody cares, right? Jim Carrey walks around with a beard. George Clooney walks around in his, Tom hat. It really doesn't matter. Our culture, and this is a non-nepotistic world. I mean, okay, coming back to one last point about nepotism. When Taimur Ali Khan's pictures are put out on the internet, okay, how many of you do not click on it? Yes? And why do you click on it? If it was any other kid, would you click on it? Right. So it's also about the demand which fuels the supply. You want it. That's why they give it to you. So that's essentially about what nepotism is. I do believe that in a world of larger platform base and where stories and content is kind of taking over and things are happening the way I see it around myself. Some of them will be hits, some will be misses, but it's a really good road ahead. Today if a certain kind of actor, and I've experienced this, certain star wants to say, okay, you pay me X amount of money, or this is how I want the role changed and all of that, I'll say, get lost, man. I mean, I'm not interested, right? I'll do the way I want to do it. I don't need you. I'll go to a lesser actor, lesser budget, but I'll make it, right? So that's the future, and it's happening worldwide. It's just happening in India a little later. When a show like Fargo happened or a show like Breaking Bad happened, people didn't think that it would catch on, the way it did. I mean, there are people who become stars at the age of 60, for Christ's sake, So yeah, I mean,
3 minutes more, please.
Sorry?
3 minutes more.
Oh yeah, no, I'm kind of done with talking about nepotism. I do think that the pressure of being a celebrity in today's world, it's a double-edged sword, because it depends how you define yourself as a celebrity. If you're a celebrity because you're basking in the reflected glory of your parents, then it's a much, much bigger pressure. It's way bigger for Janhvi Kapoor or Chunky Pandey's daughter, or maybe Shahrukh Khan's son tomorrow, because the scrutiny is so much more on you. On the other hand, if you come with absolutely no baggage and you prove yourself in one show or two shows or three shows, well, you made it. So it's never been more equal than it is today. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for such kind of, I think you are very politically correct also, and you balanced your statement very well. As a journalist all my life, I can say I would go back with a wonderful copy from Devalina, but I would basically have to balance when your statements are made, all in good fun. Vivek Vaswani has not joined and he's not responding, so there might have been some kind of problem. So I would now go to a different field altogether. I would go to a person called Apsara Kumar Thakuta, who has been someone who has, even after her marriage, she has managed to become Mrs. Universe India, and also have been someone who's maintained herself, has put the the best self forward, been there, seen everything, and when in candid conversation with us, has also revealed kind of traits of that industry of modeling and artist. And she's been a presenter, she's a very good friend, and she's one of those celebrities who have always responded to a phone call, which is very rare in cases of celebrities. Thank you, Apsara, and I welcome you to this discussion. I would now request Dr. Navamita Dev Bhomik to please introduce our guest.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Navamita, are you there? Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Carry
sir.
on. Yeah.
Good evening, sir, my seniors and my colleagues, and of course, Apsara ma'am. So Apsara Guha Thakurata has won Mrs. India Universe in 2018 and represented India in the international pageant Woman of the Universe and won Mrs. Woman of the Universe second runner-up in 2019. She is the brand ambassador for Unirox Bicycles and a social organization, Tiljala Shed. She was the face for Raj Bhavan Durgotsav Committee for 2019 and has been awarded by the governor for her international pageant winning. She has walked the ramp as a showstopper for designers like Anushri Malhotra, Pallavi Mohan, Debjit Paul, and many others. She has walked the ramp with consulate generals as well. She is a grooming expert and a show director for national level and state level pageants. A professional model from the ramp, commercial, as well as product modeling, trained and professional Indian classical dancer, who also holds a master's degree in Odissi dance, having formal training in Bharatanatyam and expertise in Bollywood dance. So I leave the stage to ma'am. Ma'am, please carry on.
Thank you so much. Really means a lot. And thanks a lot, Mrityunjayda. It's definitely an honor that you have invited me among all such, celebrated people that I'm here today, this evening. And it really feels great. So a very good evening to all of you out there. And I'm here to share something about nepotism, favoritism, as we all know that we have the topic for today, and success versus failure. So for me, it was, completely different. Why? Because I started very, very late. But however, that is how people believe, but I don't believe, because it's always never late. It's never late. The moment you realize that you want to be something or you want to achieve something, and you're passionate about it, it's never ever late. So I started my career as a teacher. I was an educationist and I was teaching in a school, and 10 good years down the line, I realized that I want to, carry my passion towards modeling, because back in school and college days, I used to do modeling and I used to represent my college and school. So one fine day I came across this Mrs. India, that the auditions were taking place, and I wanted to register, and my husband was really very supportive enough, and he said, why don't you go ahead? You're really so passionate about it. And therefore, that's how it began, and I registered, and God has been kind. But all these years since 2018, the day when I started until today, what I faced was quite challenging. And to be very honest, I knew that the film industry, as we all know, because film industry is very, it's loud and clear that nepotism exists. There are chances of favoritism and whatsoever. But I didn't have much clue about our fashion industry, what goes on. So once I became Mrs. India, and then I represented India for the international pageant there. In the international forum, I traveled to Dominican Republic, and when I was all there, I had 40 countries participating. So I traveled all alone, and I was very, very nervous, thinking that, what am I going to do? What it is going to be like? Because 40 people from all over the world, they'll be, coming. So the first thing that I faced there was racism. So this married woman from India is not going to be a part in our swimwear round, will she? So the very first thing that the organizers told me that, I hope you're not carrying your swimwear attire, and if you're not comfortable, it's okay. We will provide you with a monokini, and you can go ahead. I said, okay. So I kept quiet and I accepted what they said. And on the day of our swimwear round, I was wearing my two-piece, my bikini, and I went up there. I said, yes, here I am. So they were a little taken aback that an Indian, and that to a married lady, having a child of 7 years. So she's all there to come and do a swimwear round. And thereon, I also had to go through favoritism, because the host country was given a lot of opportunities. They were doing the opening dance, and so many things. They were carrying their own makeup artist. They were carrying their own designer. Everything was like set for them. And I was all there, doing my own makeup, my hair, and I was struggling with myself because there was nobody to help us. But with the blessings of Almighty, and with my potential, and all that I knew that, dude, I have to be here. I have to perform my best. I have spent all my money. I have come all the way. So I will perform my best. I will give it my best shot. Now, while that I win or I don't, that's the second thing. But I will give my best. And with the grace of God, I became the second runner-up, and that's when I came back to India, and I faced another challenge. Now, what was that? So there were a group of people who ganged up against me, and in every project that came up to me, they would just go and they would just talk rubbish about me. They would just call me up and say nasty things, and it was difficult. You go out of India, you face certain things, and you come back to your own home country, and it's okay, it's done and dusted. But while you are here back in Kolkata, while I'm facing that, it was really depressing for me, because I had no one supporting me from the industry. A lot of people ganged up so that I don't get a work opportunity. Some good names, some big names from the fashion industry, they made it really impossible for me. But all I did was I just kept quiet. They had, they made every possible ways. They did every possible things to boycott me. But yes, I kept quiet, and I kept on doing my own work. I was silent, and all I was doing is I was just talking to myself that this is just a passing phase. This will go on. You'll be fine. You will be fine. Be patient. Be yourself. Be trustworthy. Be truthful. And I kept on talking to myself. That was the time. If I hadn't, had that courage, and I hadn't spoken to myself, and I kept my mind calm, I would have lost my own self, and probably maybe I would have been frustrated and depressed. So these things happen. So we only talk about our film industry, but there are a lot of things that goes in the fashion industry as well. Since I'm here and I'm facing it, that is what I can say. But all that I knew, that dude, you're here, the pros and cons, you have come knowing everything, and you've made a second innings go on. But all that I wanted to do was, I had a plan B ready. Because if this doesn't work, it might not work. It might not work. And if it doesn't work, I have something to fall back upon, and that is I am a trained Indian classical dancer, and that used to be my profession. I'm an educationist. So I knew that I have my own dance academy to fall back upon, but it was not something like, if this doesn't happen, my life comes to an end. This was never the case for me, and I kept on telling myself that this is just a passing phase. This will go on, and you have to prove your worth. You have to be quiet, patient, and silent, and prove your worth. And till date, I think what Mr. Shomik Sen said, Debolina Di said, I agree with both of them. See, there's nepotism, there's favoritism, and there's casting couch in every profession. A little less, a little more. But we have to accept things, and it's us who have chosen this profession, who are willingly into this profession. So if we go on cribbing about it, there is not going to be any sort of help. Yes, we have to keep our mind, we have to keep on talking to ourselves. We have to keep our mind in a very positive way, so that we don't lose control. We don't get depressed easily, and we have to believe that one fine day talent will speak up. One fine day talent will have its own course. Talent will take its own course. So we have to have that faith. And yes, now that I'm trying my luck in the film industry, I'm yet again facing that. And by now, I think I'm much more accustomed with the situation and the things happening around, and I think it's okay. You enter into this industry, and there's positive and negative in every field. And probably this is a little more because this is more visible, and this is a little more audible to the audience out there, to the spectators out there, and we are constantly talking about it. But that's okay. Everything comes with certain pros and cons, and all that I keep telling whoever wants to enter our fashion industry, that have a plan B ready with you, because if if it doesn't work, that okay, if it doesn't work, I have something else to do. And don't come with a hope that it is going to work immediately. As Debolina Di said, that patience is the key. I too believe that patience and dedication is definitely the key. You have to be patient, because probably a lot more talented people, lot more than me, are waiting out there for their chance. They probably haven't got even a single bit of it. Probably that is highly possible, and I'm thankful to God with whatever I have got, and God has given me this opportunity. I'm here, and I'm still trying and trying and trying.
2 minutes.
And there is so yes,
Sarah,
and
2 minutes.
yes, Mrityunjay. So that is all. And whoever wants to begin a career in the fashion and film industry, you have to be very well prepared and sorted. You can't just go with the flow. You have to know what you're getting into and the pros and cons. That is it. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Apsara. It has been a wonderful kind of
Thank you,
the personal kind of account, the fears, the uncertainties, and it's something which you did not really prepare yourself from the beginning. You were from a humble school teacher to a kind of being so kind of unafraid to really try it and then succeed. It has been a wonderful journey. It has been a wonderful kind of rendition. Thank you very much, Apsara. We are all so proud of you. We are very proud.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mrityunjay. That means a lot.
I would now have to make a little adjustment, because Jyotika Jyoti is from Bangladesh, and she has certain kind of problems with, so she has to speak next. I would request Jilli Tiwari, Professor Jilli Tiwari, who's the head of the Department of Psychology in the Adamus School of Liberal Arts and Culture Studies, would now introduce Jyotika Jyoti. Jilly, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Good evening. Okay, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Jyotika Jyoti, who is a talented actress and a social activist from Bangladesh. She's also founder and CEO of Ray House. She has a master's degree in English literature and has worked as an actress, model, and presenter since 2005. In television, she has acted in more than 300 Bangladeshi television fiction and series. Some of the movies which she has worked in are Maya, The Lost Mother in 2019, Rajlokhi and Shrikanto, which is a Indian Bengali movie, Anil Bakchir Agdin in 2015. This movie has won Bangladeshi National Awards in 6 categories. She has also worked in short films like The River in 2019 and Furniture in 2018. She has worked in social awareness docufiction on health, education, agriculture, environment, and women empowerment. In 2015, she received the Bachasas Award for Best Actress. 2012, she received the RTV Star Award for Best Actress. She also won the Actress of the Year Award in Sako Television Award. In 2014, she was the finalist of Lux Photographic Contest. Ma'am, a very warm welcome to you. Please, over to you, ma'am.
Hello, madam. We cannot hear you, madam. The sound is not coming out.
We can't hear you. There is no audio, please. Yeah, now we can hear you. Can't hear you. Again, we can't hear you. Hello? No, we can't hear you. Could you log in again? Please log in again. আরেকবার log in করুন। শুনতে পাচ্ছি না আপনাকে। না। আপনি এটা কাজ করুন, আপনি লগ ইন করুন আবার, আমি আরেকজন গেস্টকে নিচ্ছি, আপনি লগ ইন করে আবার আসুন। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। I would now go to the next guest because her audio has a problem. So Mr. Ashok Vishwanathan is someone whom I have been knowing for a long time, and Ashok is a wonderful debater, and his contribution to film and his knowledge about film and the world of cinema is unparalleled. I would now request Professor Madhurima Dasgupta, HOD of the Sociology Department, to please introduce Mr. Ashok Vishwanathan.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. So I would like to welcome everyone here, respected deans, sir, esteemed guests, and our senior professors. I would like to introduce Ashok Vishwanathan, sir. Ashok Vishwanathan, a Film and Television Institute of India graduate, is a 3-time national and international award-winning director, screenwriter, and actor. He has been the chairman of the National Film Awards jury twice during the years 2007 to 8 and 2013 to 14, non-feature film section, as also a member of the Governing Council of SRFTI 2014. He has the distinction of having 5 of the films directed by him included in the Indian Panorama sections of the International Film Festival of India in the years 1994, 99, 2001, 2002, and 2006. These include 3 feature films, 1 short fiction film, and 1 documentary. He is also a film producer and a director of more than 150 film and television projects apart from the 9 feature films. He is the president of the Eastern India Film Directors Association, the ex-working president of the Federation of Cine-Technicians and Workers of Eastern India, and also a visiting professor at Film and Television Institute of India, Tufts University, Boston, Monmouth University, New Jersey, TIS School of Arts, and Jadavpur University, Calcutta. He was also the head of the department at Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute, Calcutta. He has been a member of the Academic Council of FTII and SRFTI between 2005 and 2009. He is on the Board of Studies of the Film Studies departments at West Bengal State University and St. Xavier's College. There are films which has been directed by him, which include Shunno Theke Shuru, Kichu Songlap Kichu Prolap, Shopner Sondhane, Indian Panorama and Commonwealth Film Festival, Manchester, Onno Shopno, Bektikrami, Andhokarer Shobdo. Apart from the national awards, Vishwanathan sir has received a BFJA, Dishari Kalakar Jaisis and Rotary Awards, the last named for vocational excellence. Among the several documentaries he has directed is Walls for PSBT, which is the inaugural film at the PSBT Festival in 2003. He has also directed films for NFDC Doordarshan, PSBT SRFTI, and CIIL. He has been a Charles Wallace Scholar, having participated in the Cambridge Seminar on Modern British Fiction in the year 1997. His latest films include Shanti Niketane, which was shown at FTII Pune, and a feature-length documentary on Tagore's internationalism entitled The Lighthouse, the Ocean and the Sea, as well as a short film entitled Gupshup in Hindi for SRFTI, along with a feature film entitled 1 + 1 = 3, which has been released recently. Among his recent short films are Manshuk Bhai, 1 + 1 = 1, Mushan Painting and Cork Dolls, as well as the advertising films for GIS and for Acid Survivors Foundation, India. As an actor, he has appeared in more than 20 feature films in Bengali, Hindi, English, and Malayalam, directed by, among others, Ritupanna Ghosh, TV Chandran, Shatarupa Shannal, Chris Morahan, Utpalendra Chakraborty, and Madhavi Chakraborty. Among his recent appearances in feature films, mention may be made of Durai, Spaghetti 24/7, Ostro, Nodi Retui, Shanti Niketone, Bhalobashar Golpo, Chokher Pani, and Jongol Mohol Amader Kotha. He has also played a pivotal role in the short film Mujhe Rang De. He is a regular theatre worker, having acted in and directed more than 30 plays, notable among them being I.S. Johar's Bhutto. His successful production include Badol Sharka Shara Rattir, Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, and Eugen Ionesco's The Killer. Ashok Vishwanathan has been a prolific public speaker since his college days and has addressed audiences all over the world. He has also been a political commentator for Times Now and NDTV during the year 2010 to 16. He's also a writer with several articles on film and theatre to his credit. His latest publication is a comprehensive book entitled Bengal in the Century of Cinema and Beyond, brought out by the Information and Cultural Affairs Department of the Government of West Bengal. A regular poet and president of Poetry Paradigm, he has been published in several journals, including Writers' Workshops, Miscellany. So I would like to welcome Vishwanathan sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for that kind, if rather long introduction. I'm sorry for that, but let me come quickly to the point because we don't have very much of time. There was a time when the definition of a celebrity was someone who is famous for becoming famous. But that was on a less serious note than what is happening today. I trust that today's discussion is triggered off by the very unfortunate incident that happened to our very dear actor Sushant Singh Rajput. It was really a shock. Although we don't know what really happened, the two theories doing the rounds are: one, that he was sort of forced to commit suicide because of circumstances created. And the other theory is that he was murdered. We don't know. The investigation is on, and there has been some bungling already. But without commenting on that particular incident, which is prime in our minds right now, I'd like to agree with Devolina when she says that nepotism was always there. It is there, and certainly in the film industry and elsewhere too. But I found the comment that Mr. Sen made interesting when he said that the traditions of Indian classical music are, in a sense, inextricably intertwined with nepotism. Now, I'd like to slightly redefine the word nepotism. Just if you make your son follow your own profession, that doesn't really make it nepotism. Nepotism is an unlawful, illegal kind of favoritism, where you favor someone who doesn't deserve to be favored, and you put him ahead of someone else who actually should have got there. The classic example was the appointment of Chief Justice of India, A.N. Ray, during the time of the Indira Gandhi years, just prior to the emergency. That is actually nepotism. And I'm afraid it does exist. Now, what do we do about this? How do we take it? Suppose we are, well, in that bracket, which is called celebrity within inverted commas, although I have a very great aversion to this word, because who decides, just because the audience sees your films doesn't really make you a celebrity. The audience may not be doing the right thing. It's possibly because of an absence of an alternative that viewers in Bengal have been seeing films of Dev, whereas Dev may not be an actor of great repute, or he may be. But what really propels him into the category of a celebrity would be certainly popularity, but that popularity should stem from certain qualities. If he has those qualities, or if he improves himself, for example, take the case of Uttam Kumar. Sen mentioned Jatin Khanna, Rajesh Khanna. Rajesh Khanna is still till date the only true superstar with more than 14 or 15 films back-to-back super hits. Similarly, Uttam Kumar, who began his career in the late 40s and early 50s, became a superstar, a charismatic personality, an all-India figure by dint of his merits. Of course, he had the good looks, and he had developed certain stylizations, which many of our heroes do develop. Shahrukh Khan, for example, uses some of his stylizations to advantage, but they also often prove to be his undoing. But Uttam Kumar is someone who developed himself in terms of film craft, in terms of watching cinema, in terms of seeing international actors like Innocenti Smoktunovsky in Hamlet and Marcello Mastroianni in films like La Dolce Vita and 8½, and who actually learned English. My father was an actor in Tamil and Bangla films and was a great friend of Uttam Babu, and Uttam Babu used to regularly consult him on matters of English, which proved his desire to do well, even if he lipped certain lines from Shakespeare's Othello, It is the cause, my soul. Let me not name it to you, you chaste stars. It is the cause. Yet I'll not shed her blood, nor scar that whiter skin of hers in snow, and smooth as alabaster. These lines needed to be learnt, and needed to be lipped, and needed to be understood. So I would say the true real celebrity is someone like Uttam Kumar. Now, these people at this juncture definitely feel the pressure, they feel the heat, because they need to deliver. If you look at international cinema, move out from the popular realm, Krzysztof Kieślowski in the 90s felt the heat. He felt the pressure because there was the buzz that Kieślowski was perhaps one of the greatest directors of the world, particularly when he was making three colors, blue, red, and white. He felt the pressure. And there have been some people who have been created or made demigods, and there are others who genuinely are outstanding. Now, no one can deny that an Akira Kurosawa, a Satyajit Ray, or an Ingmar Bergman were truly great because their oeuvre proves it. But there are others who are just flashes in the pan. They have surmounted, they have fought against nepotism. No one can say that there was no nepotism when Ray was around. It was there, it exists today. But what I found very interesting in what Sen says, but now there's a level playing field. Now, this is a moot point. It's a point that can be debated. Obviously, even if the coronavirus had not struck, other viruses have been striking politically. And we have to combat that because we're living in a world which is fraught with danger, with unexpectedness, where even if you make all the right moves, you don't come up trumps. That's the way the world is moving. In such a world as this, is it really a level playing field? Now, even if the coronavirus were not there, I would say that cinema would have changed irreversibly. Cinema can never be the same again. And to that extent, I would say that Mr. Sen is right. Today, it's the world of the OTT platforms. It's a world where the director, even if he's not king, he can make his presence felt and not be dictated to by the stars. Sen's point is taken. But there too, there are problems because your film has to go onto that platform, and there are people sitting on that platform who are there to kick you out. You know, just because they don't like your face, or because they think that you might be a threat, or because your content might be too edgy for them. So there are problems. I feel it's still a dog-eat-dog world, but certain age-old maxims do not hold. Star kids may not be having it all that easy, but because of the unknown nature of the new medium, because of the new aesthetics that are to emerge, because now we have to adapt our content and our form to suit the OTT platforms, the life of the celebrity and the life of the non-performer, let's say, as well as the one who has talent, but hasn't quite reached there, is fraught with all kinds of dangers. To combat that, as has been already said, one has to prepare oneself, one has to see films, one has to make one's own decisions, not be overtly biased, and not be politically, loaded towards one side or the other. One has to look for good cinema. And that is what was going to work. Good cinema, cinema with content. I'll end with a small story, which I'm fond of telling. It's a story of Dr. Benjamin Spock, who was a child specialist, a pediatrician, and he was against corporal punishment. His theory was, don't beat up children. But one day he had to repair his house. So he piled up some cement next to his house, and the little children, the street urchins, they messed it up. Dr. Spock went to the children and remonstrated with them and said, children, the cement is for a purpose. Please don't mess up the cement. But the children messed up the cement again. And Dr. Spock got a little worried. He got a little annoyed. He told them in a rather loud voice that children, don't mess up the cement. They have a purpose. But the children messed up the cement yet again. And now Dr. Spock lost it completely. And he started beating up the children. He took them in his hand and started beating them. Amidst the howls of pain, a neighbor who was passing asked Dr. Spock, Dr. Spock, you're beating up children. I thought you were against corporal punishment. And Dr. Spock said, my ideas hold in the abstract, but not in the concrete. Ladies and gentlemen, we have many ideas, we have many theories. They may hold in the abstract, but do they hold in the concrete? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashok Da. One of the best debater I have always known. And I was just messaging to one of my friends that listen to Ashok Da, is still the best. Ashok Da has balanced it so well. It might hold in the abstract. It might hold in your psyche. It might hold in your imagination. But in the concrete world, in the basic world, when you hit ground zero, it might be different. So, and he's absolutely right that cinema is passing through a churn, and cinema would not be the same again post the COVID world. And with the web coming in a big way, life of celebrities are really now challenged. We would now go back to our international guest, Jyotika Jyoti. I think her audio is okay now. Can you come on, ma'am? Can I invite Jyotika Jyoti to say her piece, please? Is she there?
No, sir. Madam have left the meeting.
Okay. Then I would invite Anuttama Banerjee. Anuttama Banerjee, for introducing her, I would request Dr. Koshi Banerjee to please introduce Anuttama Banerjee. I hope Anuttama is there.
Yes, sir.
And then we will take, yes, we'll take Sami Sharma.
Yes, am I audible?
To wrap it up. Yes, Koshi, please go on.
Yes. Dr. Anuttama Banerjee is a psychologist, academic mentor, poet, and columnist. She is attached to Medical Super Specialty Hospital and Crystal Mines as a consultant psychologist. She has completed her personal training in psychoanalysis from IPS Kolkata. Apart from her clinical practice, she is presently associated with various academic institutions as a mentor in the area of academic administration and professional self-enhancement of the students and staff members. Her opinions on various psychosocial issues are often highlighted in both the electronic and print media. Her columns address both personal and collective journeys through the lens of psychology. She is a well-known personality in the area of mental health. Her books on poetry and psychosocial articles are highly acclaimed in the field of contemporary Bengali literature. We welcome you, ma'am. Please deliberate on the issue. Over to you.
Anuttama, I would like to Anuttama, I would like to kind of you to touch points like celebrity lives, their success and their defeats, their depressions. This kind of trait in behavior can lead to certain kind of vulnerability, can lead to suicides, which we are kind of witnessing in today's India. And because you are the person who can analyze all these emotions, please do that.
Okay, thank you so much. I believe you are audible now. I would first thank Mrityunjay sir for having me over on this panel. And I would thank Adams University for creating this platform for all of us.
There is a little problem in your audio. Please kind of.
Is it better? Is it better now?
There is
it better now?
There is a.
Am I audible?
Madam, are you using two devices?
Close the door if it is open.
Madam,
can you close the door of the room if it is open?
That's absolutely a closed door. There is no risk. I mean, there is no chance of echoing ideally.
Madam,
so I'm not very sure. Yeah.
Madam, excuse me, ma'am. Are you using two devices? Is it parallelly running?
I'm using my AirPods and my. No, I'm using my AirPods and my laptop. That's it.
Can you switch that off? That would be better. And speak on the camera.
I think maybe I can try this one. I can just try to disconnect
the much better. This is much better.
I can try this. Maybe this better. Is this better?
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
okay. So I made my AirPods. Okay. So I would begin with the well-being related issues as Mrityunjay sir just suggested. I was listening to the esteemed panelists so far. We have heard a lot about nepotism. I would rather start from the other terms which were there in the topic success versus failure and how success, failure, these terms along with nepotism, along with favoritism, how can they impact our well-being when somebody is a celebrity? I think the first time when somebody is considered as a celebrity, when somebody is noticed, when somebody's work is, somewhat acknowledged, appreciated, the struggle begins right from that point. Success is equally stressful as failure. because success always comes with the anxiety of remaining successful. So that is an added pressure all the celebrities go through, I'm sure, because even in my clinical work, I have had the opportunity to interact with some people and I have seen their struggle with themselves, particularly when they are doing good work. The immediate thought is, will I get this kind of work in future? Another problem of celebrity life is whether you're successful or you're experiencing failure, there are uncertainties, of course, which were quite well explained by both Shomik Devolina. I think that is something which is also connected to favoritism, that is also connected to biases. Is it, sorry, is this coming right? Am I no, I'm not audible.
Madam,
You are
actually,
audible,
voice is
but there is
echoing.
a kind of double sound.
Madam, can you turn off your Bluetooth device?
Yeah, it is turned off. It's absolutely turned off. It is turned off. I don't know why this is happening.
Now it is all right. When you go, speak a little slower, that would
okay, I'll try that. Yeah. So I was saying that the success failure, both these could be problematic, stressful. Nepotism exists in most of the fields. Nitya was actually very correct in that. I think this is troubling. I mean, when somebody is unduly favored, that is definitely not appreciated. But at the same time, we also can reflect on instances where just because somebody is somebody's offspring, one may not be successful in the long run unless one is talented. So I think that is also an important criteria. Unless one is actually talented, only through nepotism, only through favoritism, one cannot remain successful in the long run. There is another problem which often happens with people who come with a certain legacy, even when they're doing good work, even when they are finally coming up with their talents, that is not seen from the right perspective. That might also be seen in the light of nepotism, and that could also impact their sense of well being. I have also come across people who have complained about that. They say that this is our work. Maybe I'm somebody's, offspring, but that does not necessarily mean I haven't put in effort. But unfortunately, if your entry had happened in the place of somebody else, if your course of actions are taking place by replacing somebody unduly, no matter how talented you are, you will always be questioned. And that is also a problem even people who are favored, they face. There is another problem which is related to depression and well-being. Mrityunjay sir asked me to touch upon that. I would first say that depression and suicide may not come hand in hand. We have misconception about it. We often think whenever there is a suicide, there is, sorry, okay, my laptop audio, just a second, let me check. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Can I get a feedback from somebody? No, because I've been seeing comments coming and I'm truly getting distracted, honestly. This is really, I'm losing my thread of the conversation. Sorry.
It is okay. We can hear
popping up in the chat box, and that's a little distracting. Yeah, so I was talking about, thank you so much, Chandrika. So I was talking about, the course of action when somebody is, when we, okay, I was talking about suicide. I lost track. So when somebody is committing suicide, it can also be a momentary impulsive decision. It can happen just like that. Because when we are celebrated, when there is a lot of light around us, when we are not getting that amount of attention, at times that can make us feel very lonely and vulnerable. When we are unduly getting attention, at times that could be overbearing. At times we may feel that we need the privacy and we are not getting it. At times when it is completely absent, even that can be problematic. It is an ambivalent situation. It is a mixed situation. And another problem with most of the celebrities that I have often faced, that they cannot really decide where to go. Even if they decide to go for professional help, they are not too confident because the whole life is under the scanner. The mental health professional might keep it, somewhat under control, hidden, confidential, but still the media may come to know. And we know that they are constantly waiting for the stories to break. I understand that, which is why when Deepika Padukone came up with her narrative, we actually thought that, okay, somebody is breaking the silence. Somebody is talking about the need for mental well being. And no matter how successful you are, no matter how good looking you are, whether you have any body shaming issues or not, no matter how much money you have, you may suffer from mental issues, mental health issues. It happens irrespective of what we perceive you have. It is your internal perception. And sometimes I have also seen that in their lives, they feel a kind of meaninglessness. Even when everything is present, there can be a sense of meaninglessness. There can be a sense of alienation, feeling of being the other, not included. That is also problematic. I believe, apart from nepotism, feeling the other is extremely problematic, because if you're truly talented, you can put in your effort and you can push your boundaries. After a point, you might get success. But the moment you see that just because I am not such and such, just because I do not follow certain protocols, I'm being treated as somebody who's not included, that can also make us feel isolated, humiliated. And sometimes even that's a problem with many. And they again do not know whether to talk about it with somebody or not, because even if they go for psychotherapy, we have also seen with Sushant Singh's issue. In fact, I was actually very critical, even in social media, in some places where I saw the psychologist is giving the documents to a certain media person. This is simply not done. The moment somebody comes to us for therapy, we protect their information like our own banking details, much more than that at times. So, under no circumstances, these information should be open and out. And I think this is another problem. Maybe another Sushant Singh would be scared to go to another therapist, or another person who's struggling, who's feeling vulnerable, may wonder that what if my psychologist brings these things in front of the media? So we have to be very, very careful, also professionally, also from the side of a fraternity. Now, whenever we are struggling with success and failure, sense of failure is not always equivalent to failure. At times, I have also seen that moment you're successful, you develop a certain lifestyle. You know that I'm constantly under the scanner, people are constantly pouring attention onto me. So there could be some kind of extra stress and burden because of that. There could be financial burden. There could also be relational burden, because the previous relational textures start changing. One may feel that earlier I used to go out with my friends, I used to hang out so easily. Now that I'm a celebrity, I might be exploited. Even when I'm taking a phone call, I might think twice that it could be an obligatory call. Somebody may ask me to appear somewhere, which I do not want to do. So the relationships come up with certain demands, and unfortunately, these people become loners. And in that lonely planet, they are alone with their anxieties, they are alone with their insecurities, they are alone with their depression. They are like any one of us. They may have all these emotional struggles, but they do not have the empathetic, non judgmental, secured space to open up. And that becomes problematic. Even when they are subjected to nepotism, they may not open up because they do not know how would that impact their future course of their career. Sometimes they may even have insecurities about their looks, as Debulina was saying, and it's some sort of a magical expectation people have about the celebrities, as if they cannot age, they cannot look different, they would look exactly the way we have seen them all along. So it's an impractical expectation we have about them, and unfortunately, the impractical expectation of others can also impact our own expectation of ourselves. We have also seen the Samira Reddy videos where she's come up with her mental health issues, and she's mentioned how she had to struggle with body shaming problems in her own life after she delivered her children. So we know that even this is another area which is directly connected to our well being. So I would rather suggest to all the participants today and those who are watching this webinar, that I have to decide my criteria, my parameter. Yes, one can be a celebrated figure. Of course, confidentiality could be an issue at times. Even if you talk to a friend, you never know whether that friend would break that story to a media or not. But even then, try to form some groups where you can unburden yourself. Suicidal impulses may come even without any prior signal. The only thing that I can say in this regard, that the moment you feel that it's useless, it's baseless, I do not want to live, it is a momentary feeling, and this momentary feeling may not last. Tomorrow, you may think about it differently. You may feel that, okay, I was very sad yesterday, I was feeling absolutely baseless, but right now I'm not feeling that bad. So let us not act on something on the basis of your one day's perception. Let us not conclude something. Let us not be too drastic because one day you're feeling very edgy or vulnerable. And also, I would request everybody that it's like when you go to a gym, you go to your yoga sessions, you're not necessarily physically unwell. You go there so that you can stay fit. You need that mental gymming, and for that, counselors are there, psychologists are there. When you know that your environment is ruthless, not conducive, and it is very clear from Shomik's narrative, it is also clear from what Debolina shared, of course, also from Apshara's understanding. The world may not be pleasant to me, the world may not be favorable to me, the world may not be all nice to me, but I have to decide how least I can be impacted by it. For example, right now in the corona situation, corona is not under our control, but how we can, thank you, I'll just write down. How we can be less infected, that is under our control. So emotional issues, vulnerability, stress, anxiety, depression, momentary momentary dips will happen. This happens to all of us. Celebrities are no different species, just that they are far more vulnerable because even when they are broken, they have to put another mask, they have to appear in front of the camera and play roles, and that is extremely difficult at times. So it is far more important for the celebrities, for people who are appearing as public figures, to stay fit emotionally. For that, if you think that you need to go for regular therapy, regular counseling sessions, please feel free to go to the person you trust. And I can ensure from my end that there are therapists who will ensure all these information would remain confidential. This is the primary ethical oath that we all have to take when we start our process, when we start our practice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have really touched upon something which is very important, mental gymming. I think as we are all aware of physical gymming, mental gymming is perhaps of utmost importance in today's life of stress and strain and loss and despair and the feeling of sense of it. Uh, I would now go to our international guest, Jyotika Jyoti. She has really been very kind, and with a lot of internet problems, she has come back. Jyotika, would you please come and deliver your point of view? Jyotika, are you there? Yeah. Can't hear you again. Would you use a earphone or something like that? কিছু শুনতে পাচ্ছি না।
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, can you hear me? Ma'am, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, are you using a laptop or a mobile phone? If laptop, then give a thumbs up. If mobile, then down. Are you using a laptop?
She's using a laptop. She's using a laptop.
Ma'am, can you use a mobile phone? Can you use a mobile phone? It will not take much time.
Because we really want to hear you, and that is why we are persistent. Why don't you try a mobile phone, please? একবার চেষ্টা করুন মোবাইল ফোনে, প্লিজ।
You just open the link, just click that the invitation and open in the browser. It will connect in the mobile phone. Mrityunjay sir, in the meantime, ma'am, Jyotika ma'am connects. You can take few questions, I guess. There are few questions.
No. There is Samir. So I will go to Samir and then take Jyotika ma'am. Right?
Okay.
Right? Jyotika ma'am, আপনি একটু থাকুন প্লিজ, আপনি আমাদের সঙ্গে থাকুন একটু, আর মোবাইল ফোনটা আপনি কানেক্ট করার চেষ্টা করুন, আমরা পরের স্পিকারকে নিয়ে আবার আপনার বাংলাদেশের পয়েন্ট অফ ভিউ আমাদের কাছে ভীষণ ইম্পর্টেন্ট, সো উই উইল পজিটিভলি I would request now Jitendra, Professor Jitendra Naik, to please introduce Mr. Sami Sharma.
Good evening, everyone. So, Sami Sharma is one of the panelists for today's session. Sami Sharma is a Bollywood actor and model. He has done his acting course under the supervision of National School of Drama faculty members, and he has acted in several serials like Dil Ye Ziddi Hai, Tenali Rama, Ladies Special, Three Deviya, Crime Patrol, Savdhan India, Code Red, and many more. He has also worked in commercial ad films which are very well known like Bingo, Dabur, Lysol, and others. Samir also finds a Bengali connection. The Bengali connection is through the creative industry and the creative media, where he has worked in several regional Bengali ad films like 50-50, Britannia, Wood, IPL, Colgate, etc. Samir has also worked in Amazon Prime web series and Hotstar web series, some of which are Comic Star Season 2, Star Sports Promo, Master Chef Season 2 Promo, and Breathe, which is quite a famous web series, Season 2. He is also currently working on Suchanand web series. So I welcome Samir from the land of Bollywood to share his ideas and his experience in the industry. Over to you, Samir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jitendra. Yeah. So I'll start with my journey. Actually, I've started my career in December 2009. So I came in Mumbai in December 2009. So I didn't know anyone over here in Mumbai. So in Delhi, I had some connections in theater. So one of my senior gave me some contacts to connect with the persons in Mumbai. So I came here and I didn't have so much contacts. So I started my struggle, and actually I did my theater. Mostly I did comedy shows. So I don't know, in industry, you know it very well that according to your face or whatever you look like.
Samir, आप थिएटर के हो तो आप हिंदी में भी बोल सकते हैं, because we would love another form of working. You know, if you can continue in English, मगर हिंदी में भी हम लोग सब समझ सकते हैं. वही मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ.
Okay, cool, yeah. So actually मैं 2009 में दिसंबर 2009 में मुंबई आया था. तो एक्चुअली मेरे पास कॉन्टैक्ट्स नहीं थे काफी, सिर्फ एक मेरे सीनियर थे जिनको मैं जानता था. तो उन्होंने मेरे को बोला था कि यहाँ चले जाना, देयर आर सम प्लेसेस यू हैव टू गो. सो आई वेंट देयर. मतलब मेरे को कुछ ज्यादा पता नहीं था ऑडिशंस के बारे में. आई एम टेलिंग ऑल ऑफ यू अबाउट माय स्ट्रगल, बिकॉज उससे थोड़ा सा मैं हो सकता है मैं कुछ हाईलाइट कर सकूं. जो अभी करंट सिचुएशन जो चल रही है, डे बाय डे जो मतलब सुसाइड्स की जो न्यूज आ रही है. इवन अभी 2 days बैक समीर शर्मा ने सुसाइड किया. बट मेरे को फोन आने चालू हो गए कि समीर मतलब तू तो ठीक है ना. मैंने कहा हाँ मैं ठीक हूँ यार, वो कोई और था. तो वो मेरे सीनियर थे एक्चुअली. समटाइम्स इट गॉट कंफ्यूजन, लाइक वो जब भी मेरे को फोन आते थे कहीं से कास्टिंग एजेंसी से, तो उन समीर शर्मा के बारे में बोलते थे कि हाँ आप समीर शर्मा, अभी आपसे बात हुई थी हमारी आफ्टरनून में, तो आपने स्क्रिप्ट देख लिया है क्या? मैंने कहा नहीं मैं, मेरी तो आपसे कोई बात नहीं हुई। तो उन्होंने बोला नहीं आपसे बात हुई थी मेरी। तो मैंने कहा प्लीज एक बार चेक कर लो, मेरे से बात नहीं हुई आपकी। तो उन्होंने चेक किया और फिर वापस मेरे को कॉल बैक किया। तो बोले कि नहीं वो दूसरे समीर शर्मा है, सॉरी टू डिस्टर्ब यू। मैंने कहा इट्स ओके। तो ऐसा कंफ्यूजन मेरा जब मैं त्रिदेवियां कर रहा था, सब टीवी का थ्रिलर कॉमेडी शो इन विच आई प्लेड द कैरेक्टर ऑफ फतेह सिंह, फतेह मामा। सो इट वाज अ वेरी पॉपुलर कैरेक्टर एंड सीरियल भी काफी पॉपुलर हुआ था, बच्चे काफी फैन हो गए थे उससे शो के। तो फिर उसके बाद मेरा जो प्रोफाइल बना था विकिपीडिया पे, जो त्रिदेवियां का जो पेज है विकिपीडिया पे, उस पे मेरा प्रोफाइल था। बट मेरा जो नाम था उस पे, बट फोटो मेरा नहीं था, फोटो था समीर शर्मा का, जिन्होंने रिसेंटली अभी सुसाइड किया। तो मैं थोड़ा कंफ्यूज हो गया। मैंने कहा यार ये तो बड़ा मतलब प्रॉब्लम है, मतलब काम मैं कर रहा हूँ इसका, फिर फोटो इसका है। तो फिर मैंने एसपी से बात की, सुपरवाइजिंग प्रोड्यूसर से। तो उन्होंने बोला कि नहीं ये तो आपको खुद ही करना पड़ेगा विकिपीडिया में जाके। सो आई डिड दैट थिंग माई सेल्फ। मैं गया विकिपीडिया, मैंने पेज बनाया और खुद ही मैंने चेंज किया वहां से। तो डिप्रेशन और एंजाइटी ये सब इश्यूज होते हैं एक्टर्स को, आई नो इट वेरी वेल। मैं भी कहीं ना कहीं स्टार्टिंग में जब मेरा स्टार्ट हुआ था तो मैंने भी ये इश्यूज फेस किए थे। मतलब मेरे को लगा था जब मैं यहाँ पे मुंबई में होता था तो मेरे को मतलब फोन्स नहीं आते थे इतने। जब मैं घर चला जाता था अपने होम टाउन में या फिर दिल्ली होता था तो मेरे को फोन्स आने चालू हो जाते थे। तो मेरे को बड़ा डिस्टरबेंस होता था कि अरे यार मैं मतलब मुंबई में था तब तो फोन नहीं आया, अभी यहाँ पे जब मैं हूँ तब मेरे को कॉल्स आ रहे हैं, तो व्हाट शुड आई डू नाउ, ये वो। तो मैं फैमिली में बोलता था अपनी मॉम को कि ये देखो ये मेरे को फोन आ रहा है, अभी मैं क्या करूँ। तो मम्मी भी कहती थी कि अरे तू फिर आता ही क्यों है यहाँ पे, जब तेरे को तू यहाँ आने के बाद तेरे को फोन्स आते हैं। फिर मैं मतलब बड़ा वो होता था कि यार मैं बड़ा टेंशन में आ जाता था, अरे काम निकल गया यार, हाथ से काम निकल गया। फिर मैं मुंबई आता था, मुंबई आने के बाद फिर फोन्स काम आते थे। तो वही मैंने स्ट्रगल स्टार्ट किया, धीरे धीरे मैंने अपने आप को अपनी एक्टिंग स्किल्स पे काम किया। थिएटर मैंने दिल्ली में भी किया था, थिएटर मैंने मुंबई में भी किया। फिर कादर खान जी के बेटे के साथ किया था मैंने थिएटर, उनसे काफी बारीकियां सीखी। जो कादर खान जी का लिखा हुआ प्ले था वो किया था मैंने। मतलब मैंने मोस्टली कॉमेडी प्लेस ही किए थे। तो यहाँ पे आने के बाद मैंने एक चीज देखी कि हाँ आपको यू हैव टू बिलीव इन योर सेल्फ। अगर आपको अपने अंदर विश्वास है तो आप कुछ भी कर सकते हो। अगर आपको अपने अंदर ही विश्वास नहीं है तो आप कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे। तो द मेन थिंग इज दैट अगर आपको ये लगता है कि हाँ मेरे को एक्टिंग में जाना चाहिए तो आप एक्टिंग में जाओ। ऐसा नहीं है कि आप मतलब एक्टिंग में हाँ चलो देख लेते हैं ट्राई करके क्या होता है क्या नहीं। बट आपको उसके लिए प्रिपेयर होना पड़ेगा। आपको पहले माइंड प्रिपेयर करना पड़ेगा कि हाँ मैं एक्टिंग में जा रहा हूँ और मेरा इसमें अगर मेरे को स्ट्रगल करना पड़ा तो मैं स्ट्रगल करूंगा। ऐसा नहीं है कि एक महीना हुआ, कुछ लोग आते हैं मैंने देखा है कि एक महीना हो जाता, एक महीना क्या 2-3 दिन होते हैं, अरे यार कोई काम नहीं मिल रहा है, मतलब क्या क्या हुआ यार काम नहीं मिल रहा है यार, इतना टाइम लगता है। एक महीना हो गया तो वो ऐसे मतलब ऐसा हो जाता है उनका, वो घर ही वापस चले जाते हैं फिर। तो यू हैव टू बी वेरी पेशेंट इन एक्टिंग फील्ड। अगर आपके पास पेशेंस है तो आप आगे सरवाइव कर पाओगे। अगर पेशेंस ही नहीं है तो फिर आप चाहे 10 साल लगा लो चाहे 15 साल लगा लो, मतलब पेशेंस पेशेंस आपको रखना पड़ेगा इन इन एक्टिंग फील्ड। तो मेरा वही स्ट्रगल था कि मैंने स्टार्टिंग में तो मैंने बहुत छोटे छोटे कैरेक्टर किए सीरियल्स में, और फिर उसके बाद धीरे धीरे करके मेरे को मैंने एड फिल्म किया जॉन अब्राहम के साथ, पहला मेरा एड था। उसके बाद मैंने आलिया भट्ट के साथ किया, फिर मैंने मोस्टली मतलब सेलिब्रिटीज के साथ ऐड किए, सोलो ऐड फिल्म्स भी किए। बट वो मेरे लुक के हिसाब से मिला, फिर मेरा कहीं ना कहीं टचवुड मेरा एक्टिंग टैलेंट था तो उसकी वजह से मिले थे मेरे को। बट स्ट्रगल मैंने किया और आज भी मैं करता हूँ। अगर मेरे को फोन्स आते हैं मैसेजेस आते हैं तो मेरे को आई हैव टू गो माई सेल्फ टू गिव द ऑडिशन इन द स्टूडियोज। बट हाँ अगर अभी जैसे अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस करंट सिचुएशन ड्यूरिंग दिस पैंडेमिक मेरे को थोड़ा सा ये है कि घर से मतलब सहूलियत है, घर से मैं ऑडिशन रिकॉर्ड करके सेंड कर देता हूँ। तो इसमें ये क्या होता है कि इसी में ही फाइनलाइजेशन हो जाता है। तो मैं मतलब यही कहना चाहूंगा कि जो डिप्रेशन के इश्यूज होते हैं, एक्चुअली मैंने एक फैक्ट मैं बताऊं तो मैंने जो सोचानंद वेब सीरीज की थी, मेरी सोलो वेब सीरीज थी ये काफी पॉपुलर हुई थी। तो इसके जो डायरेक्टर हैं उनकी जो वाइफ जिन्होंने मतलब प्रोड्यूस की थी और जिन्होंने नाम सजेस्ट किया था इसका, सोचानंद, कि एक पर्सन है जिसका नाम आनंद है, लेकिन वो सोचता बहुत ज्यादा है तो सोचानंद नाम पड़ गया। तो दैट इज अ वेरी लाइक हिलेरियस कॉमेडी वेब सीरीज। तो उसमें मैंने काम किया, तो उनकी वाइफ ने, जो डायरेक्टर की वाइफ ने भी सुसाइड किया था एक्चुअल में। तो मेरे को बड़ा शौक लगा एकदम से, मैं मतलब एकदम से आई शौक की, अरे यार ये मतलब ये क्यों कर लिया, ये क्या किया उन्होंने। इवन वो उस फील्ड से मतलब एक्टिंग में थी भी नहीं, वो एज ए प्रोड्यूसर, एज ए मतलब ड्रेस डिजाइनर काम करती थी। तो मेरे को बड़ा शौक लगा, मैंने कहा यार ये मतलब कैसे हो गया। तो फिर मैंने बात की, तो उन्होंने बोला कि वो थोड़ा सा उनकी वो चल रही थी, डिप्रेशन की दवाइयाँ ले रही थी वो। अ, मैंने कहा यार ये तो मतलब ये तो सबकी, वो जब बुलाती थी मेरे को किसी पार्टी में इनवाइट करती थी, तो शी वाज वेरी हैप्पी ऑलवेज, लाइक मैं जब भी देखता था तो बड़ी खुश दिखाई देती थी। लेकिन बाद में एकदम से अचानक ऐसा स्टेप उठा लिया, तो फिर मेरे को मतलब बड़ा एक अंदर से डर लगा एकदम से, ये क्या हो गया। मतलब शी वाज वेरी क्लोज टू, लाइक आई वाज ए फैमिली मेंबर टू देम। तो मैं मेरे को मतलब बड़ा मेरे को डर लगा अंदर से कि ये क्या हो गया, मतलब ऐसा क्यों किया उन्होंने। तो मैं मतलब देख चुका हूँ खुद, तो ये चीज मैं महसूस भी कर सकता हूँ कि ऐसी मतलब अगर आप ऐसी स्टेज पे आ जाते हो कि आप कोई काम कर रहे हो, आपको कोई काम नहीं मिल रहा है, बट एक ये होता है कि अगर आपको काम नहीं मिल रहा है, एक ये होता है कि आपको आपके टाइप का, आपके लेवल का, आपके स्टैंडर्ड का काम नहीं मिल रहा है, तो आप डिप्रेस होते हो। तो दोनों ही चीजें हैं। बट मैं तो देखो, मैं क्या मानता हूँ कि अगर मैं ऑडिशंस में जाता हूँ, इवन आई हैव गिवन एम्पल ऑफ ऑडिशंस, लाइक मैंने, मेरे को पता नहीं है कि मैंने 10,000, मैंने 1 लाख, मैंने कितने ऑडिशंस दिए हैं, बट मैंने बहुत ज्यादा दिए हैं। लेकिन मैं सोचता नहीं हूँ, जब ऑडिशंस दे के आता हूँ तो मैं ये नहीं सोचता हूँ अरे यार मेरा नहीं हुआ, अरे यार उसमें हो जाता, यार मैंने तो अच्छा किया था। नहीं, इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट। अगर आपने अपना ऑडिशन दिया है, बी कॉन्फिडेंट इन फ्रंट ऑफ द कैमरा, ऑडिशंस दो और मतलब भूल जाओ, आगे फिर और भी तो काम आएगा ना। ऐसा थोड़ी है कि एक बार ऑडिशन दिया तो उसी से ही आप मतलब कि आपने बहुत अच्छा दिया, मे भी आपका लुक नहीं जा रहा होगा उसमें, इस वजह से आप सेलेक्ट नहीं हुए। तो मैं मतलब पहले मेरे को थोड़ा सा लगता था यार मेरा अच्छा ऑडिशन हुआ और अभी मैं, मेरे को इन्होंने बताया नहीं, यार ये क्या मतलब हुआ,
3
मतलब
minutes
आना
more.
चाहिए था फिर मैं।
3 minute
सॉरी,
और 3 minute और
या श्योर। तो मतलब मेरे को लगता था कि शायद मेरे को यार मेरे को मिलना चाहिए था यार, मैंने तो बहुत अच्छा ऑडिशन दिया था, मतलब सबने क्लैपिंग्स भी की थी, तारीफ भी की मेरी काफी। तो मेरे को लगता है ऐसे, फिर मैं बाद में आके घर पे सोचता था यार मैं क्या कमी रह गई क्या। तो मैंने अपने ऊपर काम किया, ऐसा नहीं है कि देखो दूसरे जो बोलते हैं ऑब्वियसली वो क्रिटिक्स आर ऑलवेज देयर। तो क्रिटिक्स तो होने ही चाहिए हमारी लाइफ में, अगर नहीं होंगे तो हम आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे, क्योंकि वही कमियां बताते हैं हमको। और हमारी जो कमियां हमें पता होती हैं वो हम खुद नहीं मतलब महसूस करते हुए भी उसको ठीक नहीं करते हैं। द मेन थिंग इज दैट अगर हमें अपनी कमियां पता है, अगर मेरे को अपनी कमियां पता है कि मेरी एक्टिंग में यहाँ पे मैं लैग कर रहा हूँ, तो यहाँ पे मैं लैग कर रहा हूँ, तो उसको मैं रिफाइन करूंगा ना, उसको मैं अच्छे से और अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करके फिर मैं डायलॉग डिलीवरी करूंगा, फेस एक्सप्रेशन, वॉइस मॉड्यूलेशन, एवरीथिंग। तो वही मेरे को चीज समझ में नहीं आती है, लोग क्या सोचते हैं। मतलब यहाँ पे मैंने देखा भी है कि बहुत सारे मोस्टली लोग यही सोचते हैं कि मेरे को जल्दी से एक्टिंग में काम मिल जाए, इवन छोटा मोटा भी काम मिल जाए लेकिन मेरे को मिल जाए। लेकिन आपको मिलेगा तब जब आप, यू हैव टू बी पेशेंट, आप अपने ऊपर काम करो। अगर कहीं गलतियां हैं, मैं एक्चुअली किसी भी एक्टर को ये नहीं बताता हूँ, अगर कोई मेरे से सजेशन मांगता है कि अरे यार ये इसमें कुछ गलतियां हैं तो बताओ, मैं ये बोलता हूँ अच्छा ऑडिशन है, अच्छा ऑडिशन है और बहुत अच्छा किया आपने, बस थोड़ा सा वैसा वो कर लो। तो मैं डिमोटिवेट नहीं करता हूँ उसको, मैं बोलता हूँ कि यार थोड़ा सा मतलब अच्छा कर, इसको रिफाइन कर सकते हो, आप अच्छा कर रहे हो। तो कई बार तो एक्टर्स को अगर ये बोलते हैं ना कि अरे यार क्या परफॉर्मेंस कर रहा है यार नहीं नहीं आप रहने दो, तो वो डिमोटिवेट हो जाता है। एक एक्टर को वही तो चाहिए होता है, मोटिवेशन। वो मोटिवेशन अगर एक्टर को मिलता है तो उसके अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस इतना ज्यादा आ जाता है कि वो मतलब वो कुछ भी कर सकता है, फिर मतलब जो भी उसको स्क्रिप्ट दी जाए वो मतलब बहुत अच्छे से परफॉर्म कर सकता है उसको। अगर उसके अंदर आप ये पहले से ही डिमोरलाइजेशन आ जाती है, डिमोटिवेशन आ जाता है, तो वो बंदा क्या करेगा फिर। वही एक्टिंग का यही इशू है कि लोग जल्दी सोचते हैं कि जल्दी से एक्टिंग मिल जाए, जल्दी से मेरे को काम मिल जाए, ऐसा नहीं होता है ना। यू हैव टू बी वेरी पेशेंट। तो अगर आप परफॉर्म कर रहे हो तो अच्छे से करो ना, एक बार में ऐसा परफॉर्म कर दो कि लोग तालियां क्या, लोग आपको मिलने के लिए तरसे, मतलब ये होती है एक्टिंग। मैं तो यही मानता हूँ, शुरू से ही मैं यही मानता हूँ। मैं अपने ऊपर काम करता हूँ, मैं ग्राफ देखता हूँ एक्टिंग का, क्या ग्राफ है, क्या है, क्या कैरेक्टर है, जवाहरलाल नेहरू का कैरेक्टर, सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल जी का कैरेक्टर है, या फिर मेरा कैरेक्टर है, सोचानंद मैं कर रहा हूँ, या फिर मैं फतेह सिंह का कर रहा हूँ त्रिदेविया में। मतलब मेरे को अपने कैरेक्टर के अंदर घुसना पड़ेगा ना, उसकी डेप्थ में जाना पड़ेगा। तो आई हैव टू वर्क ऑन माई सेल्फ।
राउंड अप प्लीज।
या सो मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा कि आप अगर एक्टिंग फील्ड में आते हैं, ये जो है कि सक्सेस और फेलियर, सक्सेस इंसान तभी होता है कि अगर आप इस फील्ड में या किसी भी फील्ड में जाते हैं तो यू हैव टू बी वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट, यू हैव टू बिलीव इन योर सेल्फ कि मैं ये कर सकता हूं, तो ही आप उस फील्ड में आओ। अदरवाइज तो अगर आप मतलब ये सोचो कि यार मैं एक बार ट्राई कर लेता हूँ, क्या पता हो जाए, तो ट्राई भी अगर कर रहे हो तो भी आपको पूरी शिद्दत के साथ करना पड़ेगा। वो एक कहावत है ना कि अगर, हाँ
थैंक यू वेरी मच समीर। आपका ये बहुत ही बड़ा बात है कि अगर आते हो तो अपना कन्विक्शन पे आओ, अपने टर्म्स पे आओ और पेशेंस रखो, एक दिन आपका भी बनेगा अगर आप में टैलेंट हो तो। थैंक यू वेरी मच समीर।
Exactly.
We would now
It's
go
my
back
pleasure.
to Jyotika ma'am and see the audio is okay or not. Jyotika ma'am, can you please say something? We just can't hear you. There is some kind of a problem. Can you go off screen and try to speak if there is any that way of improvement? I'm sorry, but we just can't hear you.
And for a moment, can you share the screen? Can you share the screen? There is a green button there. There's a green button, share screen. Just in the.
There is a green button. Green button টা একটা আপনি ইয়ে করুন, ওটাকে ক্লিক করুন।
Okay, we just will see your screen. Okay, you opened your Zoom. We are seeing your Google page. We want to see the Zoom page. You click on Zoom. No, we don't see your Zoom page. You first click on the Zoom page and then click on share screen. Mrityunjay sir, I have a suggestion. She can give you a call and you can keep the audio before your mic.
Yeah, I can do that if she can call.
She can call you and you keep your audio before the mic and we can hear her opinion.
Let us take some questions
Yes.
now, because till she can do that. There is a question which has been asked by Professor Ujjwal Chaudhary. We have heard about how to really tackle depression, but how to tackle success? Can Devolina answer that? How to tackle success? Is Devolina there?
Yes, I'm there.
Can you handle this question? How
Yes.
we have heard how to handle depression and
Yes.
and defeat. How to
Yes.
handle success? What are the basic nuances that you do when you are very successful?
Yes. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's an answer lying within the question, that is success and depression are just two sides of the same coin, is what I would say. Because the more successful you are, the more prone you will be to depression, because the more successful you are, the more fear there will be within you to lose something. The more you have, the more the fear is there to lose what you have. So the basic idea to handle success is that you have to believe in the basic fact that the only thing constant in life and universe is that everything is transient. This is a basic theory, a basic mantra, I would say, that I keep on reminding myself and I keep on following, which is that the only thing constant is that nothing is constant. Therefore, this is a basic theory which helps you handle your bad phase, because when a bad phase attacks you very heavily, then if you know for sure, because if you want or you don't want, even if you don't want, even if you sit down and pray every day that let the bad phase remain, the bad phase will not remain, because that is against universal law. The phase will and shall pass by. That similarly, if you are at the peak of success, and if you are at the pink of your health and pink of your days, that shall pass too. That shall pass too. And that is something that you have to know, believe, and prepare yourself for, that when I will not be in the best of my times, then also there will be a time which will be not so bad either, and I should be ready to handle that. So nothing is constant, everything is transient. Believe in that and prepare yourself for that, and that's the only way how you can handle success, to know that success can never last forever. I mean the peak, I'm talking about the peak, but still you can be a happy person for the rest of your life, because in that case you know how to handle life when you are not at the peak. So peak comes for a while, it never comes forever. So know that and be prepared for that. That's what I would say.
Thank you very much. There has been some incident with a YouTube tuber with you. Was it with you recently? There's a question. It says, "Ma'am, I really don't know to whom it has been addressed to." Has there been any incident with you with a YouTuber?
I'll understand if there's the if I get to know the question. I did an episode on depression. Are they talking about that?
No,
in my
YouTuber.
channel?
Did you have any kind of any clash with some YouTuber recently?
No.
Or is it somebody else? I don't know.
Clash with
I
an
would.
YouTuber? No.
Most of the things that they have said is that it is a very nice station. Any question for the panelists? Put your believe in connection problem. Question to Anuttama. As you said that depression and suicide do not go side by side, then what pushes a person towards suicide? Which is obviously a drastic step. Is Anuttama there?
No, sir, madam is not there.
Oh, Anuttama must have left because she was in a hurry. Anyone who wants to take this question? Shomik Sen or Ashok, whoever can take this question. What do you think pushes a man to suicide? Is it success, depression, failure, or what? Will Mr. Shomik Sen say something? And then Ashok can take this question.
I don't know. I'm not qualified to say this actually, because you never know what pushes somebody over the edge, right? Because it will be different for different people, and so yeah, it's a drastic step. And as Devolina said, and I think even Anuttama said before she left, that always remember that it's a phase, and when these thoughts come, and tomorrow is another day. So what pushes a person to take such a drastic step is.
If you want, I can speak on this because I have been through long-term treatment.
Yes, Devolina, you are welcome to speak on it.
Yes, I am just wanting to share what I personally feel. I'm not a doctor, So I'm just saying this with my experience because I have been through treatment for I was under heavy and massive depression for 2 months and at a stretch, and I had to see doctors, and I had been through treatment through sessions and also medicines. Let me clarify, much before I entered the industry, when I was in class 8, and it was triggered by a scene of a film that I had seen. I still remember Anjan Datta was there in the scene and Anusha Mujumdar was there in the scene. They were talking about the end of life, what is death, and that particular scene triggered my body in such a way that my hormones in my brain, which, because depression is a physical disease, first of all, let me clear that. I'm sure Uruttam would have agreed with me. It's all about hormone secretions. So I went into heavy depression, and I was suicidal. I started feeling that if this is ultimately what life is all about, if when your body shuts down, if that is ultimately what is life sums up to, then what is the use of whatever we are achieving and gaining in life? So I had this feeling of bringing an end to my life. So it happens from basically one thing, that's what I was told by the doctor, and that's what I realized also: overthinking or ruminating about anything. Because what I had was medically called rumination, a depressing thought that leads to suicidal thoughts is called rumination. Rumination is gorur jabor kata. To explain it, যখন গরু জাবর কাটে একটা জিনিস নিয়ে चबाता रहता है गाय, उसको कहते हैं rumination. तो when
you think about you think about the same thing one over and over again.
That's what every single person does unknowingly whenever you're going through a negative phase. You don't want to, the more you don't want to, the more you hammer on a single thought of worry or sadness or depression, anything, you go on hammering and hammering and hammering and hammering, and that's make your brain secrete certain hormones which will lead you to suicidal thoughts. So you have to find means and ways to stop overthinking about one thing.
Okay, thank you, Debolina. I think there is a problem of some network. Can I and Ashokda take this question? I am a student of literature, and this comes from Shayon Chattopadhyay. I am a student of literature and will be in the field of academics. How do you believe this concept of celebrity is defined for writers, authors, academicians? How can it be achieved apart from my endless drive to know more and be better in academics? Can Ashokda take this question?
Yes, I can. I don't believe that one should achieve towards celebrityhood. That's the very point of it. To clarify what Debolina just said, you must take success as just another event that has happened to you, knowing that it's transient, that it's temporary. If you think that that is the be-all and end-all of existence, you are living in a fool's paradise, because what you think to be success may not be success according to some other, point of view. For example, suppose your goal in life is to win the national award for whatever field you have tried for, then our national award might not be regarded as very important by, say, the Cannes Film Festival jury. Or if you think the Oscar award is the be-all and end-all, then some other festival may not regard the Oscar award as great. So it's very relative. So once you realize that what you take to be success is relative, you won't strive towards it. I think a young student who's studying literature should study literature for the resonances, for the magic of it, When you hear the lines, to be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say, we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep. When you hear these lines, these divine lines, written by the great Shakespeare, that should give you goosebumps. When you read Rabindranath, or when in Jivanananda's tones you hear Shonali, Shonali Chil, Shishir Shikar Kore Niye Geche Tare, 20 বছর পরে সেই কুয়াশায় পাই যদি হঠাৎ তোমারে, that will be your calling. Only then can you do well as a writer, as a literator, as a teacher. You must derive pleasure in what you do, and that is the ultimate, not the award that comes after it.
Thank you very much. There is a question for Debolina. I don't know if she's there, or it can be taken by anyone. We have seen many times that some actor or actress with excellent skills are thrown out from the industry after maybe 2-3 successful box office hit. Whether the reason is only that they are not from reputed star family or not responding to casting couch in case of an actress. Can Shomik Sen take this question, please?
Shubham Mama, I'm there.
Oh, you're there. So please take the question. And then I think then Apsara and Shomik Sen can all take this question. This is
Everybody
very,
can
very
actually.
pertinent.
But
yeah,
I could hardly hear you. What? Can you just repeat the question once more?
A person has 2 or 3 box office hits and is very talented, but after some time his or she is thrown out of the industry. Is it just because of nepotism? Is it just because she doesn't belong to a star family? Did you get it? Or Shomik can, for the time being, take it, and then we will go to the one. Please, Shomik, can you please take it?
Yeah, I think eventually it boils down to market forces, right? When people say that, I'm not saying no to the fact that authority does not exist, and it's not just about actors, but it's about various kinds of filmmakers, various kind of oligarchic and imperfect competition practices, malpractices, I would say, exist, and it's across the board. I mean, it's like any other industry. I mean, you just see actors because they're in front of you, but it exists across the board. So yeah, it's a problem. Nobody's saying no to that. I mean, and there are various reasons why a certain actor does not get cast. Okay, I mean, it's not necessarily just about the fact that this person comes inside or outside. You don't know how that person is to work with on set. Okay, you don't know how that person is, and whether the kind of whether he's financially viable. I mean, there are enough stories about enough big stars who are not from nepotistic families, who are nightmarish to work with, and similarly, there are instances of people from certain film families who get pushed because of the fact that there is a body of work that they have, or people. It's like betting, right? A producer bets on a certain talent, hoping that in my film he's gonna make it. Okay, so nobody's out there to kind of lose money. So at the end of the day, it's just that when it comes to Bollywood, it's purely business. So if my film, which rests on the shoulder of a certain actor / actress, and if that person is indispensable, needs to prove himself time and again. If somebody is not able to prove himself, he or she will be dispensable.
Thank you, Shomik. Debolita, can you take it? Take the question.
Yes. If I specify the question a little, because what you mentioned in the question is that if somebody is thrown out of the industry after a few hits,
just because he or she does not belong to any star family.
Yes. Then what? That was the question.
Yeah.
Or why somebody is thrown out?
Yes. Why somebody is thrown? Is it because of the casting couch? Is it because of the casting couch?
Yes. In that case, I would like to answer, if I specify the word thrown out. If somebody is thrown out from the industry, that happens very rare, when you're picked up and thrown out from the industry after hits, But that does happen when it's made absolutely public, when it's made when the press knows about it, that you are thrown out of the industry, and the producers and directors and actors kind of announce that you are an actor whom we don't want to work with. Then please be sure that after a few hits, if somebody is thrown out officially from the industry and you as an audience get to know that the person has been thrown out, then there is something about the person, about the actor, which is extremely difficult to deal with, behind the scenes, when that person is on the sets. Otherwise, a person would never be thrown out. But what can happen is you would suddenly see a person not being cast anywhere, but you would not know that the person has been thrown out, but you would keep on thinking and thinking and thinking that why am I not seeing this particular actor? Then 100% there can be nepotism and favoritism, which has been sabotaging the person, or has been conspiracies has been happening around the person in such a way that the person himself or herself shuts down in a way that doesn't want to work, feel like staying at home, feel like leaving the industry, or there's a conspiracy that this person would not be cast. Such conspiracies do happen, and it does happen, you're absolutely right. But in spite of being in the industry for 22 years, one thing from my side, I would like to be very clear: no actor in the industry is indispensable. No matter
Okay,
how much
thank you,
talented
Devalina.
you are not indispensable.
Thank you. I will take a perspective from Apsara too. Does casting couch become a priority in modeling and in other kind of talent in that kind of a sector? Is Apsara there? Is Apsara there?
Yes, I'm there.
Besides acting, do you really think casting couch becomes a very important, or nepotism or favoritism becomes a very important factor to really exist in modeling, in big time show?
Yes, to some extent, it definitely does. See, I won't say that in modeling or in fashion industry, I had to face a lot of casting couches, but yes, I did have to face a lot of favoritism. However, when I was I'm still trying my luck in the film industry, and I'm talking with a lot of people. So a lot of people come up to me, thinking that this girl, since she has started pretty late, so she will be willing to go up to any extent, or she's desperate to get a role, or get a work. So I have had a lot of people being very blunt and upfront in saying that yes, we would want you to do a certain thing, or compromise, or so I had faced, and which is why I have till date I have received a lot of offers. However, I couldn't take them up, because I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with the casting. I mean, it varies from a person to person. It's very very personal
So
and
you take it
perspective.
that we take it that it exists, right?
It does. It very much does. Yes,
Okay,
of course.
so there is a question for Ashok sir. My question is for Ashok sir, whether it is now an untold condition of the film industry, must a star family tag or avoid casting couch for existence? It's almost the same question, and continue in the industry with excellent skills. Then we should ask the central government to pass and approve a bill to make it fully legal, sir. Ashokda, can we make it legal, or can the center ever think of passing a kind of legal kind of guarantee to actor and actresses that there will be no casting couch of favoritism?
That's very difficult. You see, as Sen rightly pointed out, it's an unorganized industry, and some people want to let it remain unorganized, so as to enable them to run the industry as they will. So legal steps very difficult to work out, you know. Obviously, if there's some proof, you can take legal action, or if there's any intent which can be established, you can take legal action. But I would say that it's difficult to have legal kind of a framework to prevent this. But obviously, we can make this a better place by constantly speaking out, you know, and congratulations to Adamus and seminars like these, which actually bring such topics into focus. So thanks to you, Mrityunjoy, that at least you are talking about it. And that is the first step to really tell people that there is lobbying, there is nepotism, but this is the way to deal with it. So I think that's the only way and not the legal way, because the legal way can only happen if there is established evidence.
Okay, now that we have almost come to the end of this event, I would like to take a final statement of perhaps hope from each one of you who are still with us as to what do we look forward to, what is the road ahead of such kind of, this is life. In life, such kind of the sun and the shades will always exist. So how does a new talent with a lot of talent in him or her kind of look forward to an industry which is not very regularized, which still is very unorganized? What is the road ahead? I would take one final statement from each one of you. Who would start? Apsara, if you could start.
So it's all, see, nothing is permanent, as we know, and change is the only constant. So if somebody reaches success, somebody attends success, tomorrow I might not know what is in store. So if I am highly successful today, I might not take it for granted that, okay, I am a big time success and this is how it is going. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So this is how it is going to be. And so tomorrow can be a different day. And if I am a failure today, tomorrow yet again can be a different day, and sun can be way more brighter, and my day can begin, way differently. So it's never, life can never be end on a blink of an eye. And I mean, I cannot decide that, okay, I finish my life because today is not my day. And I can also not take my success for granted, because you never know what's in store for tomorrow. So change is the only constant, I believe.
Okay, your last statement, Mr. Shumiksha.
Yeah, so I'll just briefly touch upon a few things. When it comes to eliminating the casting couch, there is something called the Vishaka guidelines, which is in place by the government of India. As and when people work in any particular film, show, serial, just ensure that those guidelines are followed. Those guidelines are there for everybody to address. Make sure that at your workplace it's implemented. That's one. Somebody asked me a question about nepotism. How do we fight that? We fight that purely with our talent. I'm an outsider in this industry. I had a script. That's how I made a film. I'm sure the same goes with everybody out here. So you just have got to be a little bit better than those guys who have an unfair advantage. I think, things will change. They all do. They may not be, as perfect. We live in extremely polarized political times. I think that's the much, much bigger challenge for creators, especially in a government, which is, the less said, the better. So yeah, we'll have to, those are much, much bigger fights. Thank you.
Okay, your last statement, Ashok Vishwanathan, please. Is Ashok there? Yeah, your last statement, please.
Yeah, I'm giving, I think, can I be heard?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I just say that, of late the world is changing, and movements like the Me Too movement have put things in proper perspective, and Me Too doesn't only restrict itself to exploitation of women, by producers, directors, actors, but also to individuals belonging to the LGBT plus community. They can also be exploited, and they have been exploited. So movements like these, protest marches, constant, being on one's toes. Those who are seniors, they should all take active effort to see that unnecessary lobbying, taking films down, protest against it. I mean, there have been incidents of films being taken down even though they've been successful, but people have protested against it and brought that film back. It's happened. So that's what we can do, and that's what we are doing, and that's what we are going to do.
Thank you, Ashok. Your last statement, Samir, please. We'll go back to Debolina last. Yeah, Samir, please. Is Samir there? Samir ji, आप हो? Yeah, आपका last statement, please. आप unmute कीजिए आपके आप को.
So I would like to say that मतलब अपने आप को एक चांस अगर कोई एक्टिंग फील्ड में आता तो उसको देना चाहिए और मतलब अपने जो भी मतलब ये सब नेपोटिज्म, कास्टिंग काउच, नेपोटिज्म और डिप्रेशन, एंजाइटी, मतलब जो भी इश्यूज हैं वो उनको मतलब वो आएंगे, वो हर एक की लाइफ में कभी ना कभी आते हैं, बट उसको हावी ना होने दें और अपने आप को मतलब इतना प्रेजेंटेबल रखें कि कहीं पे भी जाए फ्रेश माइंड से जाए, जो भी चीजें हैं दिमाग में वो निकाल के और ऑडिशन दें या फिर जो भी आप काम करने जा रहे हैं तो उसको मतलब पूरी शिद्दत के साथ करें। मेरा यही मानना है। और बाकी ये है कि
हाँ बोलिए, कंप्लीट कीजिए।
हाँ, तो मेरी क्लोजिंग स्टेटमेंट यही है कि अभी जो जैसे शौमिता ने कहा कि जो गाइडलाइंस है वो होनी चाहिए, गाइडलाइंस होनी ही चाहिए। एक्चुअली फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में कुछ चीजें हैं जो अभी हुई नहीं है, जैसे मैं सिंटा का आर्टिस्ट हूँ तो सिंटा में अभी चीजें मतलब वो वर्कआउट कर रहे हैं, तो गाइडलाइंस है कि हाँ इतने दिन के अंदर आर्टिस्ट को पेमेंट मिल जाना चाहिए, ये मतलब इस कैरेक्टर के लिए आप मतलब उसमें फिट हो तो उसको बुलाना चाहिए, वो नहीं करना चाहिए कि पार्शियलिटी करते हैं, वो नहीं होना चाहिए। अगर आप कैरेक्टर में फिट हो तो बुलाना चाहिए, उसी हिसाब से मतलब जो जो पर्टिकुलर गाइडलाइंस है ना वो होनी चाहिए।
Thank you very much, Samir. We'll go to Debolina last. Debolina, there has been a lot of questions on the same line, but I will read this out. This is Devoshmita Sharkar from the School of Sciences of Adamas University. Do you personally think that being a celebrity and a woman is almost as close as giving yourself away to commercialization? I think that would be the last question that we will take.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Could you just repeat the question once more?
Being a celebrity and a woman is almost as close to giving yourself away to commercialization.
I absolutely, and since I am speaking for the benefit of ones who want to be in this industry, this particular question I would like to answer not only being an actor, but I would like to answer being a woman, just a woman, that this is one aspect in a woman's life, and to a certain extent in a man's life also. I underline in a man's life also, that this little bit of commercialization, giving away to it, exists absolutely in our industry, and as much, I repeat, as much in any other industry, be it hotel management, you be an air hostess, you be in the corporate world, you be in a school, you be in an ashram, it does exist. So that is something that you have to, maybe because you're a woman, you have to fight with it a little more percentage wise, but trust me, a man has to fight with it too in today's world. So it does exist. You have to be prepared to fight with it.
Thank you. It has been a wonderful session, and I have really I'm thankful to all the guests who took time off their very busy schedule and came here. I'm really very sad that Jyotika ma'am, who tried her best to join us from Bangladesh, would not make it. She came on so many times, but no kind of audio could be heard. I'm very especially thankful to to her, being such a star in our neighboring country. She has been so kind to spare her time. Thank you very much. Thank you all. And that is how we'll end this session. Thank you all. Thank you.